Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Hey, look, this talk right here is going to be different. I don't usually come on like 2 days in a row, but after the conversation that I had yesterday with one of the one of our viewers in the inbox and on the phone, this is something that I definitely had to come on and talk about. So the message that I did the other day was about making people feel like they're a part of the team. Now, this individual brought up some very good points. He brought up some good points, and when someone brings up good points, I have to come back and we have to talk about them. We have to talk about them because you know we want to get it right, but we don't always get it right. And regardless of the person's rank, regardless of the person's station, they will have some good things, and we have to highlight those things when they're brought to our attention. Now, one of the things this individual told me about was he said you hear a lot of senior leaders talk about making people feel like they're part of a team, right? He said, but the thing about it was is that a lot of those senior leaders, and look, we're not speaking about everybody. We're speaking in general here. We're speaking with what we've experienced because you can only view the world from your point of view. You can't view it from somebody else's point of view. But what the individual was saying was that a lot of people came up with an aggressive leadership style. Okay. And then once they reach a certain point, they're telling people, hey, you know, there's a different way. Now, what I explained to him was this. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. There's a lot of people that have that had an aggressive leadership style, and at some point in their career they changed. Now, here's the thing. I believe, this is my belief, I believe that the majority of leaders want a leader who is assertive. If you are assertive correctly, like if you are assertive correctly, you won't have to be aggressive. And you won't have to be aggressive because like when you're assertive, you get your point across, you articulate yourself clearly, the person understands what it is that you're trying to say, what it is that you want to get done, and it's clear, right? They understand like, hey, um you're serious, you're here about business right now, this is not a game, we're not joking. You can be assertive, you don't have to be aggressive. Now look at aggressive this way. The definition of aggressive is ready or likely to attack. All right. Nobody wants to be attacked. Okay. Like you want to be attacked, get into a boxing ring, do a combatives match, do something like that. But people don't want to be attacked. Let's just put that out there. People don't want to be attacked. That's the best way to put it. People do not want to be attacked. And you're probably not gonna be likely to engage someone that you feel is going to attack you. You're probably gonna avoid that person. You're probably not gonna want to be around that person. All right. Um, but at the end of the day, when you look at it, that's the definition of attack. I mean, aggression. Somebody is likely or ready to attack. Now, when do we use aggression? Because words have meaning, right? Aggression, like if you want to aggressively attack a problem, absolutely, go ahead, do that. If there's a problem that needs to be done, you develop your plan. uh you organize your things, you do your leading portion, and then you control the variables to ensure that you get the outcome that you want. So you can go ahead and you can aggressively attack that problem, but you don't use aggression with people. There's no need to use aggression with people. Like we can aggressively get after training, we can aggressively get after all of these things, but like you don't necessarily need to use aggression with people. And this is why I say you don't need to use aggression with people, right? We have tools. Okay. And the younger leaders may not understand this, but we have tools. You see this thing right here, this pen? This pen is more powerful than anything that you will ever have. I had a leader tell me one time, a lie on paper is better than a truth teller. All right. And what he was saying was this: if you put things on paper, there's consequences because now there's a record. There's a record. There's a whole system because look, the problem that you're dealing with right now, this isn't the first time that that problem has happened. The problem has happened before. There's many people before you that's dealt with that same exact problem that you're dealing with now. So somebody said, hey, look, we need to come up with a system so that when this problem comes back around, we have a tool and we have resources to deal with these problems. And this is why I say you don't need to be aggressive necessarily when it comes to people. You need to be assertive. Being assertive. There's a whole module in MRT where we talk about aggressive communication, assertive communication, and passive communication. And just look, I don't think we talk enough about being assertive. Okay. I think what we talk about is we'll either talk about being aggressive or we'll talk about being passive. There's a middle. The middle is assertive. All right. That's the communication style that we want to use. Like that's when we're talking. And think about it. These are the people that we supposedly care about. These are the people that we've been charged to lead. These are the people who are, America's sons and daughters. This is the future. This is the future. Why would you want to handle your future aggressively? Now, we can do what needs to be done to train them appropriately. We can do that. We can do that. We can absolutely do that. We can do that. And like I said, we can do training aggressively, but we don't need to communicate aggressively with people. We can communicate assertively. If you communicate assertively, you get your point across. You get the intent across. People know what it is that you're trying to do. They know what it is that you expect, and we get things done. But that individual was absolutely right. Now, the thing that he brought up was this. He said that there are leaders who prefer the aggressive leadership style. There are leaders who prefer that. Those are going to be, the leaders who are going to, promote those things. And this is what I'll say. Be careful. Be careful, because the army you grew up in ain't the same. People are smarter. We have better systems. We have better leaders. Not to take anything away from the ones that came before us, but this is different. It's different. Like, we're learning from the mistakes. We're learning. We're learning. There's no failure. We're learning. We're learning. Like, there were things that we didn't do well, and we're learning from those things. And that's why we have the systems that we have now. Okay, we got a whole IG program. We got Sharp programs. We got EO programs. We got all these leadership development. We got all of these things out here to make sure that we are better. We're better. The only way we win the futures of tomorrow is if we are better today. That is the only way. That's the only way that we can do it. And if you're one of those leaders that's promoting that, I would just caution you to be careful. Be very careful, because something could go awry. I never want to do something that I'm going to be left having to explain what it was that I did and why. All right. Like, hey, we say it all the time. You can pick your actions, but you cannot pick the consequences. You absolutely have the ability to pick whatever action you want to, but you cannot pick the consequence. If you go out there and you do something, or you encourage something that you shouldn't have, you're going to be held accountable. Accountability is about the past. Responsibility is about the future. If you fail to be responsible in the moment, you will be held accountable for those things that you were not responsible for in the moment. Okay. And this is what I would say to my young leaders out there. All right, who may be, with leadership style, or leaders that encourage the aggressive leadership style, right? This is what I would say. It matters how you get there. It matters how you get there. Okay. If you're going down and you're just destroying everything, right? You're destroying everything. You don't care what bridges you burn. You don't care who you offend. We used to say stupid stuff back in the day. Last time I looked at my paycheck, I didn't see friend pay on there. I didn't see friend pay on there. I don't get paid to make friends. Like, look, it ain't about all of that. It's about people. Now that I'm older, I understand it a little bit better. I used to say all that dumb stuff, but I understand now. It was never about, being friends. It was about treating people with decency. That's what it was about. I had a warrant officer tell me one time. He said, we had a conversation. I've talked about it before. We had a conversation, and basically, they didn't want me in the motor pool because of the way that I led. And we have a conversation, we go back and forth, and this chief was trying to school me, but I wasn't in a place to be able to accept it. And the thing that he said to me that has stuck with me for my entire career, ever since I was a staff sergeant, was this. At the end of our conversation, I said all of this stuff that I thought was cool and this, that, and the third. And he said, Sergeant Green, he said, is there not a way that you can do your job where everybody don't hate you? Just think about that. That stung. It stung because it was true. That's what I'm saying. Like, we get too caught up in, all of these things. And I keep going back to, I heard a sergeant major say you got people that's going to be broken down into three groups. You got thirds, right? You got one third that's going to buy into everything you say. All right. They just like you. You're a likable guy, likable gal. You got another third that's, they're undecided. They're on the fence. They're like, I don't know if I like this person. I don't know if I don't like this person. I'm going to sit back and see what they're going to do. And then you got another third that ain't going to listen to nothing that you say. It don't matter what you say to them. It don't matter what you do. They are not going to follow you. The only thing we have to do as leaders is convince that undecided third, because that other third over there that's going to just do their own thing, they're going to weed themselves out through attrition. You ain't going to have to worry about them because they're going to do something that's going to get them out of here. That's why when you go, the higher you go up the rank, the higher you go up the ladder, and any organization gets smaller. It's like a pyramid because people will weed themselves out. You don't have to worry about all of them. The only thing that you got to do, and I'm talking to my junior leaders here, like Sergeant Major Griffin used to tell us all the time, the only thing you have to do is worry about your piece of the pie. You ain't got to worry about impressing your leaders and none of that crap. You ain't got to do that. If you do your job, you take care of those people that you've been charged to take care of, the results will speak for themselves. The results will speak for themselves. You get in there, you follow your rules, you do customs and courtesies, you do all of that stuff, and then you instill discipline in those that you lead, and the results will speak for themselves. If you go into an organization and people are running away from you, that is a problem. That's a problem. And look, and we just talked about the thirds, right? That one third may be running away, but the rule I've always used, if I got more than 50% of my people running away from me, I need to look inward and see what it is that I'm doing. What was it that I did not make clear? Why are these people running away from me? If you're a leader, people should be running towards you. They should be following you. John C. Maxwell says it very well. If you're out, if you're calling yourself a leader and you're walking and ain't nobody following you, you're just a man on a walk by yourself. You're not a leader. You're not a leader. Appointment of leadership does not make you a leader. You got to be chosen twice. You got to get appointed to leadership, and then you got to win the people's vote too. The people's vote counts. It counts. And I'm not saying that you got to sit here and coddle people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that people matter. People matter. They do. Their opinions matter. Their dreams matter. Their aspirations matter. Their families matter. We got a whole theme in the Army now. People first. People first. And it's crazy because, like, a lot of us, we have been saying that our entire career. We have been saying that our entire career. They used to say back in the day, if you take care of the people will take care of the mission. And that is the truest thing I have ever heard. It's the truest thing I have ever heard. You take care of those people, the people will take care of the mission. And it's true. And I think that sums up people first. And look, to the junior leaders out there, this goes two ways. This goes two ways. People first does not mean that you're going to get everything that you want. Don't mean that. But what it does mean is that we're going to take care of the things that matter. Okay? If there's one of your kids is graduating and we got to go to the field, guess what you're probably going to end up doing? You're going to go to the kid's graduation. That's a once in a lifetime type of thing. If there's a funeral or something, you're going to go to the funeral. These are life events. I heard Mike Abishur said in his book, he said, a lot of times, in the military, we get a lot of time where we have to do other things, but we have to allow people the time to live their life on our time. So that means we work hard and we play hard. Just like we're sitting out here and we're coming up with all of these things to do for people, figure out how to insert some fun in there. You can take a break to have a little bit of fun, because when those people feel like you care about them, they're gonna do whatever you want them to do. They'll freaking move mountains for you. And I've said this so many times. I swear I have. I hear leaders say all the time, well, the old Army or how we used to do things. And the thing that I always come back to is this. Every time you talk about the old army and how you used to do things, guess what? You were not the leader. You were the follower. You were not the leader. Now that you're the leader, everything sucks. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Okay. We have to do the things that were done for us and more to ensure that the people that we're leading have a better quality of life. That's what this is about. That's how it works. We do those things for people that was done for us and more, so that the next generation can see it and they come and they take over the relay race, because that's what this is. This is a relay race. We building people up to pass that baton off so that they can continue the race, the next leg of the race that we're not going to be able to run. Okay, so I was a little long-winded this morning. My apologies, but it's true. I'm telling you, like, be careful using that aggressive style of leadership. Like I said, if you want to aggressively attack a problem, go for it. Don't aggressively attack people, because like we're in a status right now in this army where that stuff ain't gonna be tolerated. There's whole task force out there. Like you have the SMAC program and stuff like that, the Sergeant Major Assessment Program. You got a First Sergeant Assessment Program. You got a Battalion Commander, Brigade Commander. You got all these assessment programs. Why do you think we have these programs? Like the leaders who haven't gotten to that point to have to go through that stuff. Why do you think we have these programs? These programs are there to weed that stuff out. They're out here talking to subordinates. They're talking to dang on your peers. They're talking to everybody because they want to know who you are. I was talking to one of my bosses, and she was like, you know what? You can look real good on paper. You can look real good on paper. But in actuality, you ain't doing too tough. You know, your report card say you were cream of the crop, but your peers say, I don't really like working with that guy or gal. Okay. And now it's gotten to a point where, you know, there's systems being put in place. Systems are put in place for a reason. They're put in place for a reason. All right. So look, this was not supposed to be a message to like spew hate or anything like this. This was a message to give hope. Like, we have a great organization. The Army is a great organization. It is. I love the Army. The Army is a great organization. And there are so many systems that have been put in place to ensure the success of our Army. Our Army's been around since 1775. That was not by mistake. That was not by mistake. And we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. This is a great organization. We are the most trusted organization in the world. Look it up on Google. The Army is the most trusted organization in the world. All right. And it's our job to ensure that it stays that way. All right. So, leaders, what are you doing to ensure that our Army stays the most trusted organization in the world every day that you go to work? All right. Okay, look, I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. Look, hey, don't ever let anybody make you feel as if you're insignificant. All right. If you do get into the inbox, we got people here to help you. Let's Talk About It is here to help you. NCOPD Live is here to help you. And the Women's Intentional Podcast is here to help you. And I didn't forget, you are important. You matter to me. All right. Look, life is a choice. I'm depending on you to choose well. Oz, you're signing out. I'll be talking to you soon.